Hey, church, it's Pastor Alex here, and I want to give you a quick COVID update. Believe it or not, Kevin and I were just talking. Kevin's behind the camera here. Kevin and I were just talking that next week makes it 1 full year that we've been in the global pandemic and that we had to cancel church services for a while. And so it's just hard to believe it's been a year, but I want to address a few things today because there's been lots happening in our community and in our culture that are kind of changing the game a little bit. First of all, is that February 19th, Douglas County Health Services updated their emergency health order and actually loosened up some of the restrictions that had been impacting businesses and organizations here in Douglas County. And so some of those things are they increased capacity. They're allowing certain businesses and restaurants to be open later, that sort of thing. Another thing that's been happening is many of you are getting vaccinated. Many of you have already had the first shot. Several of you have already had the second shot. And I know this because you're telling me and you're coming back and we haven't seen you in a while and you're coming back and saying, well, I got my vaccine. So you're feeling a little bit safer. We also know that schools after spring break are opening back up full time, starting with the elementary school. And then I think on to the middle school and the high schools the week after that. And so several things are happening. Even President Biden said yesterday, I think it was, that they hope to have enough vaccines for all of the adults here in the United States sometime by May, maybe into May, something like that. So all that to say, the landscape is continuing to change. And we know this because several of you are reaching out and asking what's happening at the church. Is it safe for me to come back? Even though we've been open since Mother's Day last year, several of you are asking, is it okay to bring my kids back? Can we come back? What's it like? Is it safe, et cetera? And what impact is it going to have on us in the immediate, any of these changes and what's happening? And so the honest answer is not a whole lot to begin with. A couple of things that are changing are this. One is you no longer need to register to attend on Sunday mornings. We're here. We've got a service at 10 o'clock, and so you no longer need to let us know that you're coming in advance. Just know that we're here Sundays at 10 o'clock. We still have our worship center audience where we're doing our contemporary service, and then we also have the upper room on the second floor where we're continuing to do our traditional service, both services happening at 10 o'clock. Another thing that's happening is we've opened up a little bit more seating in the worship center. We still have every other row sectioned off, and so we're still skipping every other pew, and so you still have 6 feet of distance in front of you and behind you. But some of the sections that had been taped off in pews, we've removed that tape, and now the pew's available to sit in, and so that's just increased our capacity in the room to about 50% if it were full, but it's not going to be full. We've had several people coming back. In fact, this past Sunday was our largest attended Sunday since the pandemic began. We had about 100 people here in contemporary worship. We had over 40 people upstairs, and then we had almost 20 or so volunteers and children in our children's ministry at 10 o'clock. And so things are picking up steam, but the changes that are happening immediately are just, you no longer need to register to come, and we've increased capacity just a little bit in the worship center. That's first things. Now, what is the long-term impact? To be honest with you, I don't know, because several of you want to go, well, when are things going to go back to normal? And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what normal means anymore and what that might look like in the future. But here's what I can tell you as we move forward. I can tell you that between now and Easter, we're going to continue with what I just told you, just by loosening restrictions a little bit. Easter, we'll have 2 services. That's April the 4th. We'll have 2 services, one at 9:30, one at 11. And we are going to ticket those events just like we did at Christmas Eve. And we'll limit capacity to 150 people in each one of those services. So we can have 300 people between the 2 services on Easter. Then during the month of April, we're going to, for lack of a better word, kind of reignite, restock, replenish our volunteer teams. The number one obstacle that's keeping us from from going back to any semblance of normal is really the number of volunteers that it takes to serve in all the various areas on Sunday morning. And so by that, what I mean is several of you are asking, can I come back? Can I bring my kids back? Well, the answer is yes. But for us to do kids ministry well, we also need kids ministry volunteers to come back. Several of you are asking, hey, can we go back to having coffee service? And the answer is yes, we can, but we also need to replenish our hospitality team. We need to replenish our security team. We need to add people to our media, technology, and to our worship team for all of those things to happen. And so right after Easter, we're going to spend the month of April just making a new call for volunteers, replenishing, restocking those teams. And then here's the date that you kind of need to know. You want to circle May 9th, which is Mother's Day on your calendar. May 9th is what we're referring to internally. This isn't for external out in the community, but internally we're referring to that as kind of a soft reopening. By that day, we hope to make the Sunday in-person experience feel normal as you can, with hospitality and coffee in the lobby and being able to hang out and gather with folks and all of those sort of things, to be able to get back to having a full slate and a full offering of our kids ministry and that sort of thing. So those are the things that are changing. And then lastly, let me finish with this. What's not changing? Well, here's what's not changing. We still are asking you and encouraging you to wear your mask. Let's not be foolhardy here. Let's continue to be smart and make smart decisions. One of the reasons that we're able to even loosen some of the restrictions, or the county's able to do that, is because we're being pretty good here in our county about how we're going about our business and how we're acting in public. So we want to encourage you to do that. Still want you to wash your hands, practice good hygiene. We still have hand sanitizer in the lobby and all of that. And then still asking you to watch your distance, especially when you're coming and going. But I hope if we can abide by all of these things, that we'll continue to be able to loosen up the restrictions here and get back to some sense of normal. And so I hope you're having a great week. And if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to call the church office or shoot me a text or call the office, send me an email, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks.